Hello viewers, today we're going to work on this BMW E60 which is with the good old M57 engine, and today we have a guest in our shop which is my subscriber, and he is coming far away from Sweden. So we're going to show you what maintenance we're going to do to this car. So this is all the parts which we're going to install on the car. As we can see guys, a lot of job ahead of us. This actually is only maintenance. The car right now doesn't have any problems. It came from Sweden. How much kilometers from there?
Oh, like 3,000 something.
3,000 kilometers without any issues?
Any issue? No,
not like the last year, or which year?
Last year was disaster. I had to change engine because
Big
of
engine failure.
because of what's it called? Oil pump.
Mehmet had an oil pump failure, and he needed to change the whole engine in Germany, so it was really expensive fix. This year he didn't have any issues, and he was able to take the car to our shop in Bulgaria, and he decided to do the maintenance of the car. And by maintenance you can see how much parts he's going to change.
I want to make the car bulletproof.
Yes.
And so, I know I'm at the right place now.
So I give him some tips what he needs to take, and especially the thing which can leave you stranded is these things, the coolant hoses. And I told him that the best solution is to buy a OEM brand new coolant hoses for these cars, because if one hose like this breaks down, you're going to leave stranded, and if you don't pay any attention, you can overheat really easy your car if you're driving with a high speed. So it's kind of hard to tell you everything which is here, but believe me, there is a lot of parts: the water pump, the serpentine belts, the serpentine pulleys,
rear main seal.
Yeah.
What's this? This is some bolt.
We're going to remove the gearbox?
I don't know, because it's leaking from backside.
From behind?
Somewhere.
So you want to remove the gearbox? If you want, we're going to remove it. I do not know that. Okay, this is the rear main seal, and actually he made a list about all the parts, so to know where everything goes, because there is a lot of O-rings, and yeah, this is kind of a little bit damaged. This should be for the DPF, but it's not big of a deal. It should work. He took even a new clamp for it. This is the bearing for the Driveshaft, and yeah, the interesting thing is that he decided to take the Powerflex rear subframe bushings, which we're going to show how to install them.
Yeah, I heard good about them. So
yes, actually, if I need to be honest, I have never installed Powerflex on a E60. It's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, the car is kind of low, and with these big rims, it's going to be really interesting how it's going to sit on the road after installing those. It should be much more stable and stiff. This is the EGR delete kit, which he already removed the DPF and the EGR on the car. Yeah, the intake manifold, some jack for the brake calipers. This should be the thermostat housing.
What's this? I don't remember.
This should be the gasket for the
I had it from
valve cover
before, but I don't think it's needed.
The rocker cover is leaking or not?
I really don't know. There is some leakage, but
you're not sure. Maybe it's a good idea to change it now, because we're going to remove the injectors, and now it's going to be much more easier.
The problem is they have like twisted it. It's not straight. I don't know.
Most of the time it's like that. They come like that most of the time, so it's normal. But he took all the O-rings gaskets, which is high quality. This is probably the best aftermarket solution after the OEM ones, of course. Yeah, this is for the oil filter housing. What we have here?
That's the breather.
Oh yeah, this is the oil breather, yes, which sits once again on the rocker cover.
Unfortunately, I couldn't buy that OEM, but I think that will do.
Yeah, I have installed this. They work.
The one I have inside is from December 2019.
Okay, it's not so old.
But I'm gonna make it new anyway.
Okay, so he took all the cores, engine oil core. There should be the transmission oil core.
This is the transmission oil cooler.
Yes, which is a really good idea to be changed from time to time, because if you have a failure with these oil cores, you're going to have really hard time cleaning after that the cooling system, because you're going to mess up all the coolant hoses and everything, and you're going to need to change everything after that, because you're going to have failure sooner or later on the coolant hoses. So it's a good idea to change these cores from time to time. And yeah, a lot of parts here. He took the engine mounts and a lot of bushings for the rear axle.
I really don't know what these I have had since last year, but I don't know what it is for. Because I change all the arms and
everything.
Yeah, and
Well,
they have
well,
some. I just took them with me to show you.
With the bolts and everything.
Yeah, but I really don't know where they go.
This is for the, I believe it's for the lower control arm on the rear axle. It's not a bad idea to change the bolts from time to time.
Okay.
So
Because I made the bushing, I bought Lemfurder front and back, all the arms,
okay.
and then the bushings in the back, they changed them. They took out the Lemfurder, put in Powerflex.
Oh, okay, I understand.
And this, I really don't know where they go.
Yes, so here. Yeah, this is for the lower control arm, I believe. Or maybe for, yeah, it should be for the rear.
I have no idea. I tried to look in the fans info site.
Oh, with a
couldn't
Lemfurder
really-
number is going to be hard.
Couldn't really find.
We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's not big of a deal.
Anyway.
So, okay, we're going to start work little by little, and if something interesting comes up, I'm going to film it. Just want to show you what regular maintenance looks with these cars.
And the new, what's it called?
Oh yeah, and
Radiator.
we're going to change the coolant radiator, yes, because this have never been changed before. Okay, so a little bit of update. We have removed all the injectors, the starter motor, the alternator, and of course the intake manifold. You cannot remove the injectors without removing the intake manifold on these engines and on the newer engine actually. So here it is, the alternator, the starter motor, and here are all the injectors, which you cannot see right now. Here are all the injectors. They came up kind of easy. So we're going to send the injectors for a bench test. We're going to see how they are working. The alternator and the starter, we're just going to rebuild it and see how they look inside, because now is the best time to do it. And we're going to send the intake manifold. Yeah, it is too sunny. And we're going to send the intake manifold for cleaning, because it's kind of greasy. So now we're going to send some stuff for repairs. So we're in the middle of changing the bushings of the rear axle. We had some big failures. We decided to do it with some sleeves and with stud, but after a lot of hammering, it was not so easy. We tried with air hammers and so on, but yeah, it didn't work. Probably we didn't use the right sleeves. So now I'm going to show you how we do it on the hydraulic press. It's much more easier. All the bushings are the same, all the 4 ones.
Terminator, say hello to the camera.
He's camera shy.
Aha.
So we are using 74 mm of diameter of sleeve. It fits perfectly. So we're going to cut these rubber teeth. This makes the job a little bit easier, because if you leave them, the sleeve is going to bend when you're pressing the bushing. Like that. So let's give it a try. Now I'm going to fast forward the video, because this press is really slow.
Top out.
Okay, one more out.
2 left.
3.
No, two.
One left.
One left, the big ones.
So let's see what we have.
Strange, they look like new.
We are changing a brand new bushings. So this is how they look like. They are actually in really good condition, but the owner Mehmet decided that he wants polyurethane ones. So that's why we are changing them. And once again, you're going to need a sleeve exactly 74 millimeters of diameter, outer diameter. And for those of you that are wondering, the lower sleeve which the bushing goes through, now I'm going to tell you the exact inner diameter of it.
You're gonna measure?
Yeah.
Say hello to my little friend.
So, let's see how much it is. Oops. So probably something around 81, 82 should be fine for the lower diameter where the bushing should go through. So to have enough space. Yeah, probably the thing which we felt on the first try is because we didn't have the right sleeve. The sleeve which we tried the first time was this, and as we can see, we rubbed a little bit of in the sleeve of the axle, but not a big deal. It's not going to cause any issues. So once again, 74 millimeter. Okay, so we are already done with the main bushing for the subframe. We decided to record the installation of the last one just to show you how we are doing it. It's pretty straightforward. It's much easier to install the bushings, the polyurethane bushings, than install the original ones and remove the original ones, of course. As you can see, we already installed the 3 of them, and interestingly enough, the front one and the rear one are different, and the only one which it left to install is the one of the front ones. And when you're installing these bushings, you need to keep in mind that the upper and the lower sleeve is different. As you can see, this is a little bit thicker than the other part of it. So Powerflex were good enough to write it, were good enough to show which one where it goes. I'm not sure how you're going to be able to see it on camera, but here it says upper and the lower one says lower, of course.
And also they write the article number.
Yeah, the article number, so to know where which one goes.
Yeah, front or rear.
So by looks of the subframe, it's pretty straightforward that this is the lower part of the subframe and this is the upper part of it, which is pointing the chassis. Here is the chassis, here is the road. So this is the upper part of the bushing, and now we're going to put some grease which Powerflex provided, which looks like some copper grease, and interestingly enough they provide really low quantity of it, which is a little bit disappointing, but we're going to manage to do it. So the hardest part is not to install the polyurethane, but to install the sleeve in the end. So I'm just going to press it by hand.
That's in.
Now we're going to take the other one, on which states lower. Not sure once again are you going to be able to see it on camera.
It says lower, yeah.
Yes, and
article number.
yes, the article number. Now once again we're going to put this copper grease for easier installation. Like so, this should be enough. And now I'm going to press it by hand. Like that. And now the hardest part, which I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it by hand. The other thing which is really important for the installation is that the sleeve is different on the both sides. As we can see how it looks here and how it looks here, how it's opened. The open part of the sleeve should go to the chassis. So it should go like that. As we can see, the open part should go like that. So here is once again the chassis and here is the road. So this open part of the sleeve should go like that.
Upwards.
As we can see the other ones, we can show here. It's installed like that, so all of them should be like that. So this is really important. It's not big of a deal if you install it like that. It's not so hard to remove it, and after that install it. It's not end of the world. It's not going to damage anything. So once again I'm going to put the rest of the copper grease, hopefully for easier installation, but I doubt that I'm going to be able to install it by hand. Probably once again we're going to use the hydraulic press.
If we are lucky, they are even.
Yeah, but
if we are lucky, we'll see.
Doubt so.
We are not gonna be press.
It's going to be
sleeve pressing.
Because we don't have enough strength, we're going to use the drag press. Okay, finally we're going to press it. Is it still saying correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Much more easier. Okay, like that.
Banzai.
So this is the installation process for the polyurethane Powerflex bushings of the rear subframe. Of course, we're probably going to change the bushings for the differential, but yeah, they are not going to be polyurethane, so probably not going to film this.
Oh yeah.
This was more interesting because it's performance thing, and it was more interesting probably for some of you guys. I know not many people are going to install this bushings on an E60, but still it's a performance part, so it is interesting. So as we can see, the front and on the rear, this sleeve is the same, so that's why the both sleeves on the front and the rear should be pointing, the open side should be pointing to the chassis, because of this sleeve should go inside here. That's why if you install it in the wrong way, you just need to remove it and reinstall it in the opposite way. So this is why you need to install it like that, because of these sleeves, which are guiding, actually this is guiding pins for the rear axle, which is placing the axle in exact position, yes. So this is why it's important. So pretty much the subframe is ready. We're installing it back in the car. All the bushings are installed, especially the differential bushings are changed, all of them, the three of them, the two front and the one rear. All of them are brand new, original ones. And yeah, we decided to start with the subframe, and after that we're going to install the other control arms. Right now my colleagues are changing the bushings on the thicker lower control arm. I mean these bushings right here, which as every bushing on this car is really hard to do it. They are really stiff inside and really hard to install after that. But pretty much we are almost ready to install everything which is back in the car. Everything is going to be almost brand new, because the owner Mehmet changed these control arms before
1 year ago.
Before 1 year. So pretty much everything should be fine, everything should be tight, because all the bushings are changed, all the pivots, all the control arms. So yeah, the rear should be really stiff and should not have any play at all. Pretty much we're done with the rear subframe. The only thing that left is to install the rear differential, but not big of a deal. So all the control arms, the CV axles, everything is tightened up. And yeah, the only thing which is going to left is to the car to go on suspension adjustment. The other thing which we have done is on the drive shaft.
The propeller shaft.
Yeah, I call it drive shaft.
Drive shaft, yeah.
So the bearing is changed. As we can see, we have made some markings, because when you undo the bolt here, you need to reassemble back the both shafts together on the same place, because if you don't do it like that, you're going to have some vibrations most likely. So it's a good idea to make a marking when you're doing a job like this. And yeah, Mehmet decided to buy a brand new OEM bearing, which we are installing for the first time. OEM bearing on drive shaft. Most of the time the owners are installing some aftermarket junks, but yeah, he decided to go with original one. So yeah, tomorrow we're probably going to continue with the gearbox removal with the front suspension, with the oil pan. Probably we're going to do this job together. It's going to be kind of messy, but yeah, somebody gotta do it. And yeah, we're going to remove the gearbox only because of the leak between the engine and the gearbox. To change the
rear main seal.
Yeah, to change this rear main seal. So this is the main reason that we are removing the gearbox, because probably it has a leak here. So hopefully this is going to fix the problem. It has a possibility that from a worn out bearings that the crankshaft has some wear, and from that can cause some leakage from the sealing. Doesn't matter is it new or old, this can cause some leakage, but this is kind of rare. Probably with new sealing everything is going to be fine. So okay, we're going to see each other tomorrow. Okay, so the front axle is removed with everything needed. So the oil pan is down. We're going to clean everything before installing the new gasket, which is right here. This is the air-ring gasket which we're going to use, and we are pretty much preparing to remove the gearbox. We're going to remove it so to gain access to the rear main seal, which is actually this one here. This is the rear main seal, you can see it from here. So it's always a good idea when changing the rear crankshaft seal to change the oil pan gasket, because they are connected to each other, and if you change only the rear main seal, it's possible to have leak after that from here. So it's kind of picky job, but in perfect situation you want to change the rear crankshaft seal with the oil pan gasket. This is in perfect situation, of course. And yeah, pretty much Mehmet decided that he wants to change the o-ring on the oil pickup tube, because he wants to be sure that it has nice and good seal on the pickup tube, and the car and the oil pump is not sucking some air. And what else? Yeah, we refurbished the alternator, the starter motor. The starter motor is here. We changed the connection pads on the starter motor, on the alternator, the bearings, the sleeves on the starter, and actually here is the injectors which we sent it for a bench test. It turns out that on 4 of them we had weird valves, which are right here on 4 of the injectors. So the injector from 1 to 4 we need to rebuild them, and injector number 5 and 6 were fine. So we have a bench test statement here, and if we take a closer look, we're going to see that everything is in spec right now. I'm going to include some pictures on which I am showing before shots how the 4 wear out injectors look like. But right now these are the 4 injectors which are rebuilt, and as we can see everything is in spec from 40 to 53 on full throttle, and as we can see we are in spec. Yeah, this is the overflow, which once again is in spec. The second one was the pre-ignition. Once again this is the spec, and this is the numbers for the injectors. The third one is idle. This is the idle quantity, milligrams per stroke, once again in spec. And the last one is partial load, milligrams per stroke, 21 on all of the 4 ones, and this is the spec, once again exactly in spec. So these 4 injectors are rebuilt and like brand new. So yeah, he have a little bit bad luck with the injectors, but at least 2 of them were okay, and it was a little bit cheaper like that. So yeah, we're going to install them. Once again, new copper rings, and I always recommend a new o-ring on the waste fuse, which is right here. So we're going to install a new o-rings on the returning fuse. And pretty much this is it. Now we're going to continue with the removal of the gearbox, and yeah, I'm going to show you some footage when we are done with that. How are you, Mehmet?
Fine, thank you.
Everything?
I'm at the right place, so I'm fine. I have no worries at all.
Happy to hear it.
Happy to be here.
Mehmet took some extra ZF wife guard. If we spill up a little bit from the transmission fluid, hopefully we're going to catch everything.
We can top up.
Yeah, we're going to be able to top it up. And because he decided to change the transmission core, he took some O-rings for the pipes which are going from the core to the transmission. But I'm going to show you that in later state.
I know where they are.
No, you know?
Yeah. There are four little gray.
Yeah, they are gray, shiny, silver O-rings.
I knew.
We removed the bushings, the engine bushings. They are still not breakdown, but this doesn't mean that they are not
going to do it.
Yeah, they are not good, because the rubber inside can be compressed, and sometimes this can cause some issues. Yeah, this is the new rings for from the transmission to the transmission core.